Hello, this is Bryce Tubbs. So thank you so much for watching, the part one of this series. If you have not already, we're going to include a link to the previous video. But, in our previous video, we talked about some exercises to increase your awareness of one, who you're being, two, why it is that you're actually doing that, and then who you are becoming, and why you're becoming that person, okay? Once you're able to figure that out, things are going to start opening up for you. In this part of the interview, part two, we were talking about how to create what you want and stepping into who you want to be. That was the theme of this interview is who are we becoming and being aware of that so that we can actively change our lives and move forward. Okay? So I cannot wait for you guys to see this interview. Have a great day. Talk to you soon. So you talked about like the subconscious things that you start thinking about. Like, can you give an example of what you're talking about? Because that sounds pretty cool. The things that you think about when you don't have to think.
Say, yeah, it's true. So
So
this
yeah.
is part of the awareness of getting clear on who am I being, right? It's a matter of every day I wake up, I have a gratitude journal. I write three things I'm grateful for and an I am statement. And the I am statement is based on what am I feeling or what am I set out to do in the day? And then at the end of the day, I write down my three wins because I need to celebrate. Otherwise, I can be an asshole to myself.
Mm.
Um, and then I write down my mindset I had and the belief that was running on in the background. And so, even just becoming aware of, like, oh, yeah, where was my mindset? Or what was I believing about myself? Because when you're just sitting there eating, say you actually give yourself some time and don't have anything playing in your ears, but you're not giving yourself any stimulation, whether it's a TV, multitasking a project, listening to something. And when you just sit there, even if, let's say you're at a park, you're sitting on a bench, there's like nothing going on. Sun's on your face, you see people playing, or you see two people having a picnic. It's almost like, what if you see that and you're like, oh man, I wish I could have that? Or wouldn't that be nice if I had that?
Mm.
Or they're doing something. Why the hell would that person wear that? It's those thoughts that are just like happening, pew, 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 that can give you a lot of insight around who you are or what it is you're about. And it's not to say it's a bad thing, right? It can change at any time, but you can't change something or quote unquote course correct if you're not aware of who it is you're being or what it is you're thinking. Is that making sense? Did that make
Yeah,
sense?
yeah, it totally made sense. So
And some people do that practice and that exercise, and they actually like start to celebrate themselves, and because they like themselves and they're like, oh my gosh, yeah, I'm actually like got it going on, I'm a pretty good person. Or like, holy shit, like I'm really judgmental, or I have attachment issues, or I'm insecure, like I'm I don't like who I am. How do I change it? And both routes are beautiful, right? There's no right or wrong answer. It's just a matter of becoming aware of it and taking ownership and creating what it is you want and stepping into who it is you want to be and who you are, but more importantly, who do you want to be?
mm, okay, so let's say that, right now you might be a judgmental person. Um, so the steps to finding out who you want to be, do you first just like write that down like on a vision board, or what do you start to do to start moving towards or identifying the person that you want to be?
I usually take people through like a values, a priorities, values, and yeah, future pacing vision. Sometimes it's a mental rehearsal meditation. Sometimes it's just filling out a worksheet and getting really, really clear, figuring out. where you aren't disciplined in your life and figuring out why, what gets in your way, like really getting clear on where it is you're at now and where it is you want to be, but figuring out what's going to prevent you from getting there. Is it because your goals are too big? Is it because you don't have support? Is it because you have disservicing beliefs, or that you don't have motivation? You don't have your anchor set in to like keep the pleasure there. There's so many things in that process. So it's a matter of finding out what the base is, what we're working with, and then moving from there.
So finding out. Okay, I'm really thinking about all these different aspects, right? So I may be reacting a little slow, but so that's interesting. So first, figuring out where you're not disciplined.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say discipline, so are you talking about like how you do one thing in life is how you do everything in life, that kind of thing, and that's why you're starting to identify that, or are you talking about
Yeah,
like?
that's a direct reflection.
Okay.
Your discipline or your level of commitment allows us to get really clear on what it is, like what your priorities truly are. Because if something is a priority and you're 100% committed to it, then you're going to do it. So it's one thing to say, oh yeah, I want to lose 30 pounds by the end of 5 months. But then, okay, well, what are you going to do to create that? And if you don't go to the gym, or you don't sign up for something, or if you don't get help, well, then it's not actually really a priority. It's just an idea or thought that you want. So that's a big part of my last 3 clients. You know, their biggest takeaway is like, shit, Alyssa, like, it's one thing to say something, say you're set out to do something and want something, but you are like, you're all about, and I'm all about you taking having integrity to get your butt out on the court and actually start playing ball. Because your integrity isn't about what you say you're going to do. It's about your actions and your commitment into actually getting out there, following through and doing it.
So, interesting kind of sidebar. That the statement of like, how you do one thing is how you do everything. For especially for myself, right? There are certain areas where I can hit my goals like pretty much every time, but then there are other areas where I don't. So that's why that saying is kind of weird to me. For example, diet, right? I'm down like 20 pounds. We've been having to track every single kind of. Yeah, so we had to like track every kind of thing that we put inside of us, right? Our energy, our workouts, everything is on track. But then there are other areas where, the discipline's just not there. So are you saying like, or not use particular,
Yeah.
like how you do one thing is how you do everything as far as your priorities, or as far as like, because it's kind of weird because I have like a couple things like business and fitness where I don't like not undisciplined, but like when it comes to like house cleaning, then I have to pay someone to do my house cleaning, right?
Yep.
So is that regular or is that kind of weird?
I think it's a matter of, I like the how you do one thing is how you do everything as a concept or principle for you to observe yourself.
Okay.
Because you can be disciplined in the gym and your business 100%, but you're not able to be fully, because it's a matter of buckets. You can't have more full buckets and empty buckets. You'd want all the buckets to be the same fullness. And so where it's easy to say, oh, well, that's not true.
Mm.
Because if how I do one thing is how I do everything, and if I'm bad at one thing, that means I'm bad at everything. Well, yes and no. It's a matter of holding you accountable of like, if you're not going to follow through on doing your expense sheets and your financial tracking at the end of each month, you're likely then not going to be the person that makes sure you go to the grocery store every weekend to meal prep, or you're not going to be making sure that you spend 1 to 2 nights a month out dating and or doing intimate things with your loved one. And you're not like it is all intertwined. It's
Okay.
just a matter of taking ownership of, you may give more time and energy to your business and to your health, but it's the level of intentionality behind what each of those areas in your life mean, and then making sure that you're prioritizing that component. Is they're not getting thrown to the wayside. It's kind of like the example of when you have a kid. When two people have a kid, their marriage or the relationship often like goes to the wayside because it's so kid focused. That's a prime example of how they're not doing how you do one thing. They're not successfully displaying it, because you should be giving as much focus as you are to your kid or providing to your family, to taking care of yourself at a gym, making sure you have time away with your husband or wife. Like it's all intertwined.
Okay. Yeah, it's almost like kind of like a trend line, you know, if you kind of graph your life. That's kind of interesting. That's why we do these interviews, because you're the first person to kind of break that down in that kind of way. Cool.